What made you rationalize spending $11,000 for a penthouse?
It's basically free. If you play video games, you're coping and you're escaping. You're probably unhappy with your life and you're probably not making a ton of money.
What was that like making over $10,000 a month though when you were 16?
Honestly, the richest I've ever felt is when I was 16 making 10 to 15K per month.
Do you believe that personal branding is the future of online businesses?
Absolutely. I think that...
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another sit down. Today we have Eddie Cumberbatch. How you doing, man?
Doing great, brother. How are you?
We're chilling, bro. We're chilling. We're at Scottsdale party room, chopping it up for a minute. I want to have Eddie on because he's been blowing up recently over the past several months, and he's a new hot kid in town. So, Eddie, do a quick intro for yourself for the people that don't know you. It'd be great.
So, it may not look like it, but I'm 19. My name's Eddie. I'm a creator. I basically teach people how to partner with creators. It's called growth operating. Basically, it's a business model I discovered when I was like 16. You partner with a creator that has a big audience that's not selling anything, and you help them monetize their audience by running a paid community. I've been making content about that, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Cool. Very unique business model that I haven't heard of until pretty recently, to be honest with you. What made you want to jump into creating a growth operating company?
So I started off growth operating in high school. It wasn't a thing back then. Like, I was just like, oh shit, I see this kid making money with a Discord. I was in a Discord learning how to resell, paying $20 per month. And I met the owner. He was 17, making 20K per month. And I was like, whoa, you're older than me, making like 20 times the amount of money. I want what he has. And so I tried making a Discord of my own. It didn't really work out because I didn't know how to make content. I sucked at content. I tried posting some videos, and then the community we were building was kind of bad. We also didn't know a ton about reselling, and so the information in there was not the best. And then we're about to give up, about to sell it, and we met a creator who was a reseller. He had a big audience, and he wasn't making money from it, but he's making money reselling. So he was like, yo, I see what you guys are doing. Let's partner. You guys run the community. I'll make content. And so that's how we got into it at the first place. And the first year working with him, our only year actually, we did 263K in personal take-home. And when I say me, I'm talking about my business partner, Brady. And we did 350K in revenue total. We were getting 66%. So that was our take-home. And then I left that partnership with Rios, and we went on, tried some more ventures we thought were better opportunities. SMMA, like most people, realized SMMA is not the move for me, at least. Maybe for other people it makes sense. But shut down my agency after we got to 30K per month, and we were like, all right, what's next? And we remembered what we did in high school with the community and the creator, and we're like, yo, this is something, like anyone could do this. We looked back at the other communities that people were running, and everyone's still printing. Like, people so young making ridiculous amount of money is running these communities. We're like, yeah, this is something that anyone could do. And so we started making content about it, and now we're running another community called Creator Accelerator.
That was a lot right there. You just flew through like, what, 3 years of your life right there?
Yeah. We could dive into the sections, but that's like an overview.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, that's insane, honestly, because you jumped into the space from what, you were 15, 16?
Yeah.
Okay. I was told to ask you, what is Reseller's Basement and how that help you?
So that is the community that I'm talking about. That's the free community. So we used a free community to get people from Rios, who's the creator who made the reselling content, his audience. We got 50,000 people inside that free community. And it was just like a free community, tons of free value. And then from there, we pushed people into the paid community, which is called Frugal Season. We charge $75 per month, and we got 2,000 people over the span of 2022 to join the paid one.
Okay, so that's insane numbers, by the way, too. Like 2,000 people paying you $75 a month. You can do the math. What is that math?
150K, but transparently, it wasn't all at once. It wasn't 2,000 people paying monthly. I think our peak was probably, I think we had a month where we hit 86K or something like that in revenue. And so whatever that math is, but it was over the course of the year, 2,000 people had subscribed, and then some people unsubscribed, obviously.
Okay. Now, at the time for that Discord, what was your main way to funnel people into that Discord?
Content. So Rios had an account. It's still up, Reseller's Basement. And then he had another one as well. I think he had some people on Twitter, but we used his audience and got people to join the Discord.
Just from Twitter mostly?
Twitter and TikTok.
Okay. Then how old were you when you made your first $10,000 month?
15 or 16. I believe 16.
That's crazy to me. I remember when I was 16, bro, I was trick shotting on Black Ops 2. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, shortly before that, I was playing CSGO.
Oh, that's still a good game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a ungodly amount of hours in CS:GO.
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Probably at least over 400.
100.
100?
Add a zero and go 7K.
You said 7K hours?
Yeah, and you know how many days it is?
Do I even want to know how many days that
It's
is?
almost a year of my life.
Really?
200 and 60 something days, I think.
Why are you addicted to that game so much?
So honestly, looking back on it, it was a cope. I was escaping my shitty situation. I was playing video games to just escape. I was living in a house with roaches. My dad was an addict, in and out of rehab, in and out of my life, and I was broke. Just wasn't happy with my life, and so I was escaping with video games, which is why I say that, like, typically when I see people playing video games, this is not always the case. For example, I was just talking to Brett, who's very successful. They have a whole CS:GO setup. They play games every day.
He wants to buy a team.
Yeah, which is really dope. But I think that typically, if you play video games, you're coping and you're escaping. You're probably unhappy with your life, and you're probably not making a ton of money. Now, I know that's a very wide generalization. I have some friends that are successful. I have one friend in particular. I only know one guy in my circle that makes a lot of money. He makes 400K per month, and he plays FIFA. But he also has no other vices. He's Muslim, doesn't talk to girls, doesn't party, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. No distractions except for FIFA. And so I guess the reason I say it is because I was using it to cope, and that's the way that I see it. Some people, I guess, are playing video games successful and have fun. But, like, typically you're poor and you're unhappy with your life.
So incredibly accurate. And I had that same take a little over a year ago, and I actually lost hometown friends because of it.
Really?
Yeah, they saw the clip, and they thought I was talking directly to them about them, and they stopped talking to me because of that.
Wow.
And they're still playing video games to this day. And of course, fine, once in a while, I'll play a few video games with my friends. Depends on the vibe. If it's a once in a while thing, cool. But bro, yeah, people that are playing video games like on a very, very consecutive basis, there's something underlying that's causing that, and like why they're doing that.
That is true, but at the same time, I've also seen a correlation between gamers and successful people. You used to play video games, right?
Yeah, but not anymore.
That's what I was saying. Like, earlier, I was talking to someone and I was like, that's what I've seen. Most of the people that are successful don't play video games, but they did in the past, and were like obsessed. And then now that obsession's got into their business, which is interesting.
That I agree with 100% because it's the same mental framework. You know, you're playing a video game trying to level up and that. Okay, now we're in a real game trying to level up.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of like skill sets and same kind of grind, but it's real this time. So I completely agree with that point. But yeah, in terms of the people that are still playing now that are like even 18 or older, men, like you got to change a few things, genuinely. But we got a little off topic there. I like going into that though, because I was not expecting to go into that.
100%.
How we were both gaming addicts at one point, and now we've transformed and transitioned that sort of vice into being in real life now. Well, you went through that Discord, of course, when you were younger. But how did you then decide to go say, okay, I can do this myself. I'm going to teach people exactly how to do it myself. Brady, let's start working together. How did you even come into contact with Brady, and what makes him such a good business partner for you?
That's a great question. I met him first day of high school, freshman year of high school, on the bus. Tall, lanky kid in the back of the bus. I was like, you're new, because I was at that school since 6th grade. It was interesting. I think we talked that first day, hit it off, became friends. And we weren't doing business off the bat. We were actually doing what typical high school freshmen were doing. Not going to get into it, but you can assume. You can make assumptions. Doing dumb stuff that dumb high school kids would do. And then one day, something happened. I got in trouble. I was being dumb. And he was like, yo, let's change some things around and let's try this. He found wholesaling real estate. And so he was like, we can make money doing this. This guy, Kong Wholesale, this guy's been selling info for a while about wholesaling. But we found him a few years ago, and we learned wholesaling. Hated it. I hate wholesaling. I don't like cold calling, the whole model. I mean, I have a friend in Chicago that makes money doing it, actually. I personally wasn't for me back then, so we stopped that. Tried a lawn care business and a ton of other businesses, and then we finally stumbled upon reselling. And me and him growth operated for Rios for that year, and then me and Brady left Rios and got into an agency together. And then from there, we started paying for coaches, mentorship, masterminds. We probably spent $25K on that since we started. And one of our mentors was like, yo, you guys scaled your agency to $30K per month in 90 days using TikTok. like, you guys clearly understand how to monetize with TikTok. Because I started a personal brand for the agency, started growing it. And he was like, you guys should start a coaching program, teaching people how you use TikTok. And so we did that. And then we were like, yeah, agency model is not fun. I don't want to coach people on this. I don't like the agency. And so we decided to shut down our agency and say fuck the SMMA coaching, just fuck SMMA in general. And we were just thinking like, what should we do? Where should we go? And then we thought it back to what we've actually had success with, lots of success. We're making 10 to 15K per month when we're 15, 16, 17, having fun every single day, only working 2 to 3 hours per day. We're like, yo, this is something. We clearly have something here. And a lot of people are doing this as well because we saw and knew all the other owners at the Discords that were doing that. And we're like, no one's talking about this. We can teach this. And so that's kind of how Growth Operating spawned. And we've been teaching it since April of last year. Since we started our own paid community, we're a meta concept now. So I'm the creator, Brady's the growth operator. Since we started in April, we've done over $1 million in profit, like 1.2, something like that. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. What was that like making over $10,000 a month though when you were 16?
Honestly, the richest I've ever felt is when I was 16 making 10 to 15K per month. And even now, like paying myself 150K in personal profit I don't feel as rich as I did then. I don't know what it is. I guess it's
probably the overhead, I think.
Yeah, like I had no like responsibilities, no expenses really. I mean, I guess I had expenses. I was kind of taking care of myself. Like since my dad was in and out of my life, I was living with my grandparents. I kind of just took care of myself, paid for everything on my own, bought my own car. But other than that, really no responsibility. In high school, you feel free. You're young. I was already just enjoying life with my friends, like going on trips with them. Like when I graduated, I went to 7 countries with my friend group, and like just like Greece the day after I graduated, then Romania, and then Spain, and then Kenya with my family. It was just like traveling. It was dope.
Did people at your school think you're a hardcore drug dealer? Genuinely.
So I didn't get into what I was doing that was not on the right path. But before I got into business, we'll say that I was an entrepreneur of some sorts. Not going to dive into that too much. But then when I switched onto the right path and started making money that way, people were still like, what is he doing? But yeah, like definitely had people thinking like, what the fuck are you doing? I also went to a private school. So I was like a poor kid surrounded by a bunch of rich kids. And that's part of the reason why I guess I worked so hard when I was young, is because like I didn't like being poor, surrounded by them. I was a have-not surrounded by have-yachts. A lot of those kids had like parents had jets, boats, taking trips all over the world, and I was just like, I see the abundance, and I know that I don't want to be poor, and I know that it's possible. So I started working, and I guess some of them were looking at me like, what are you doing? Like I tried to put all my friends on. It's crazy. I tried to put all of my friends on, everyone that was around me when I first discovered like growth operating and I started making 10 to 15K per month. No one wanted to hop on the train. No one wanted to hear me out. But 3-4 years later, now I get texts every week of people like, yo.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And the people that stuck by me, maybe they didn't try it, but the people that stuck by me and didn't, snake, be weird, I'm able to take care of them now, which is like a blessing. It's really cool to see that like one of my boys, Ben, I've known since 5th grade. He's been by my side the entire time. Even when I went through phases where I was like not hanging out with people as much and just working on my business, he understood and he was by my side. And now I'm able to take care of him. And like I'm getting him to come to Chicago this summer and be my private chef. He's like lost. His mom's trying to make him get an internship. And I'm like, fuck that. He's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, obviously you don't. Like you want to cook, because we talked about that. He's really passionate about that. I was like, bro, come cook for me. I'll be your first client for private chef this summer. I'll pay you like $3K per month. Just come live with me and cook for me. And he's like, bet. And I'm
it's
like,
an easy layup.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna like be able to connect him to all my friends who also will get him to come wherever, pay him to come cook, and like it's really dope to be able to take care of the people that have stuck by me.
Of course, that's one of my favorite things too, as well, and even just staying in contact with them and just like chopping it up, providing value in any sort of way. But I want to go into a little bit more as well, the entire aspect, and let me know if you don't want to do this, because it's something that a lot of people can relate with. When you were going through private school and you were going through seeing what cool people, or seeing the cool things in life that other people have, while you're back at home not experiencing that, and your dad's going through abuse and stuff like this. How did that pain motivate you to keep pushing really hard?
I mean, I was able to see. I mean, obviously the materialistic stuff isn't everything. I knew a lot of people who were wealthy, rich kids, parents had jets and stuff like that, but the family was broken inside. It wasn't actually good. Like from the outside, you see, oh, they have a jet. Oh, they have nice cars. Oh, their son who's 18 just got an Audi R8. Like, oh, this looks perfect, amazing life. But I saw the behind the scenes. I knew the people actually, and I knew that that wasn't everything. And so it pushed me to get out of my situation living with the roaches, being broke and poor, so that I could take care of my family and build a family, because our family was broken and things just weren't good. And so I was focusing on making money so that my son doesn't have to go through what I did with my dad, so that my son actually has a good father figure, and so that I'm able to raise a family that's not broken and take care of them. Well, also, I guess when I was younger, I did want the materialistic stuff as well. Like, I don't know who doesn't. Anyone that tells you they don't is probably lying.
Exactly.
But you get it, and then you realize it's like not everything.
100%. It's one of those things where you kind of have to do it, and then once you have it, you're like, all right, now I get to know what it's like. All right, cool. Now I kind of scratch that itch in a way.
100%. I like to. Well, I used to hate when I would hear the people online that had the Lambos and the money talking about, oh yeah, money won't make you rich. I was like, fuck you. I'm broke. I think money will make me rich. I'll be the judge of that when I make money. I made my money, and now I'm like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but it does help. And I definitely think that having money has helped my happiness, just because I'm able to do what I want. I have the freedom. The freedom is what brings happiness, I feel like.
100%. And you don't, yeah, like you just said, you can't kind of say, oh, money doesn't make you happy until you make the actual money. Because then only you can be the judge of that actual, like, statement or whatever what everybody says once they have money. But regarding now, you said you made over $1 million profit in the past year or so. 2 months ago in January, you made over $400,000 with your business at 19. How did that make you feel?
Probably one of the greatest highs I felt, hitting that record. I think, yeah, the last day of the month, we just had a massive day in business, and it felt amazing. Honestly, just like seeing the fruit of my labor, working hard. But on top of that, it wasn't even just that we had hit the record month, like the 400K, awesome. My paycheck, awesome. But on top of that, since we had hit such a big number, it means we impacted a ton of people. And the day after, like February 1st, we went through and we asked everyone in our community, like, yo, how much money did you make last month? Like, yo, what results did you get? We had like dozens of people talking to, like, throwing out crazy numbers that most people won't believe. Most people probably don't even believe that I did 400K. But there's like one person, 20 years old, did 83K in January. Another one, 19 years old, did like 75, I think. And he moved out of his parents' house into a penthouse last month. Another one did 23K, and like just disgusting numbers. And we wouldn't have been able to hit 400K if we weren't helping other people and impacting other people's lives. So it felt good all around. Like, yeah, hitting the peak revenue, seeing that chart was cool, but also getting that feedback from our community and seeing how many lives we've changed was also extremely fulfilling.
I would argue that's more fulfilling than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Yeah. So for somebody that wants to get started in growth operating, they're hearing these numbers, they're seeing, what the life you're living right now. You just got a new penthouse in Chicago. What is the number one way for somebody to get the attention of a creator to reach out to?
Don't be a bot. Now, what I mean by that is obviously you have to get in front of them, hit them with some type of message. But when you're hitting these creators up, just be yourself. Be a normal person. Don't try to find the best script or tactic or framework, because if you're looking for that, other people are looking for that. They're using that as well, and you're going to look like the crowd. You have to stand out from the crowd and be different, because creators are getting DM'd every single day, whether that's for brand deals, sponsorships, agency owners, copywriters, and growth operators. You just have to stand out from them and look different. And if you're able to do that, you'll get their attention. Like, I've talked to all of my top students who are working with really big creators, and they've all told me the way that they got their creator was by being a normal person, having a genuine conversation, genuinely trying to help the creator cure their broke influencer syndrome.
Awesome. Yeah, because this is a business model where it's requiring at least two people to be involved. Like,
Yeah.
you're the A player, I'm the B player type thing. It's not confusing, like, who's gonna make the content today, who's gonna do the back end work. Like, it's no, you do the content, I do the back end. And when people are able to kind of sit in their own skill sets, that's where they can flourish the most. So in your program, are you teaching people how to like build and manage the back end of businesses?
Yeah, so that's I guess the main focus is teaching how to growth operate. Any beginner could do that. You don't have to know how to make content. You don't have to have ran a business before. And we did it when we were 16. A few brain cells able to figure it out, make 263K that year. And so we're teaching people how to find creators, partner with them, what to say to them, how to close them, and then actually how to build the community and monetize the creator's audience, how to do market research, get feedback from the customers, build a good product, build a good community, sell the community, all that stuff. And then on top of that, I also, since I'm the creator now, I coach creators. So growth operators will partner with the creator and they will be partnered with them, and the creator can get coached. Like I'll coach the creators on like how to make better content, how to make content that gets more leads and make more sales through their content, how to grow a bigger brand. And so Brady, who's my growth operator, kind of helps them growth operate, and then I help the creators. It's a cool little meta concept.
Yeah, that'd be something I'd probably be interested in too, because I just launched a pretty recent offer, and if I can get somebody that's better at the back end stuff, let's run it. But
You need a growth operator? I got you.
perhaps,
I got
perhaps we'll talk about it off
you. All right,
camera.
man.
But okay, now that you have all these systems in set right now, I want to go back to when things weren't so high level and elevated in your business, right? At what point did you decide to drop out of college?
I didn't want to go to college in the first place, but since my grandparents had put money into my high school education, private schools, a college prep school, they spent a good amount of their retirement money on it. I was like, all right. I told them I didn't want to go. They were like, no, you're going. My grandpa was one of the first black people that went to Harvard, I think. And so I was like,
That's
okay.
a flex.
Yeah. And he went to Columbia too. My grandpa's a G. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll go. And so I went, but I went with the intention of dropping out. I knew that I was like not going to stick it out. I was paying for my own school. I had like a scholarship. I was paying like $300 per semester out of my pocket. Signed a lease in Chicago when I was still 17 before I graduated. Moved to Chicago and was going to school here. So paying $300 for tuition per semester, $1,200 for my rent, and then my food. And after 2 months, I actually got distracted. I got caught up into the whole college stuff, started partying, going out, and was very distracted. Then I was like, whoa, 2 months? I could have done a lot at that time. So I was like, fuck this, college is a distraction. I'm not happy with this. This isn't me. So I just dropped out. I was in class one day I was running an agency at the time. That's the little few month phase where I tried the agency model. And I was sitting there trying to work on my agency, and I got a text from my brother. He sent me a TikTok. And I opened it up, and it was one of those motivational entrepreneurs don't need to go to college TikToks. And it was just like the perfect time. I was like, oh, you know what? What am I doing here? Fuck this. I was like in business stats, and I was like, these guys haven't taught me anything. Like, I've learned more business on my own than I have from this bald professor that's never even ran a business himself.
For sure.
And so I stood up, walked out of class, walked home, withdrew from class that day, and didn't tell anyone except for my business partner. And he was like, you dropped out? And he was like, fuck, I want to do it so bad. But he's more skeptical, more cautious, more analytical. I'm more go, 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 I don't think. We're like a yin and a yang. But he ended up dropping out a week later. And so we both dropped out at the same time. And yeah.
The rest is history.
Yep.
I have a similar story. I went to college. I went to community college. I knew I wasn't going to graduate. I purposely went there with the intention of like, all right, my parents want me to go. My mom wants me to go. First semester and a half goes by, and I just dropped out. Genuinely. Like, for people out there watching right now that are going to college, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, I'm sure you feel the same way. But if you don't have anything going on right now, I can't advise doing it. But if you do have something going on right now, where you at least want to take like a few months gap or at least try something, I mean, we're both college dropouts. I can't even count on two hands how many of my friends are not college dropouts. Everybody I know, for the most part, has dropped out of college that is successful. So I think it's a statistic that kind of proves itself over and over again. As long as you have the drive and some sort of backbone to stay disciplined, you could probably make something work for yourself.
100%. I mean, I feel like a lot of people hear people talking about like, oh, you don't need college, and they're very skeptical. I feel like a lot of the people that are inside school matrix, whatever you want to call it, they label the people they see online instantly scammers, gurus, always lying. And I did the same thing. When I was younger, I thought everyone I saw that was making money was some type of scammer or selling me a course. and I never understood how much opportunity there really is out there until I was I entered the echo chamber of like entrepreneurs. Like now I'm just surrounded constantly by people that are, like you said, everyone that in my friend group's a dropout. And well, I guess I know 2 people that finished school but then dropped out of Microsoft, so to be an entrepreneur. But like most people are like some type of dropout and they just made it on their own. I think that nowadays like everyone's moving towards online education. Like COVID switched everything around and made people realize that online education is everything. Even COVID's when I discovered like online education. I started joining these communities and I started learning and I was like, holy shit, this is a whole world that they don't teach in school. And then I learned everything and got to college and I had a business analytics class and a business statistics class. And I asked my professors, both of them, I was like, yo, what high level position have you worked in a business, or what have you done? Have you ran a business? And they're both like, what are you talking about? I went to school. And I was like,
The
that's
imposter.
fucked up. Yeah. I was like, you can't be over here trying to charge me money to get this degree when you haven't even ran a business. The only, like, I learned, there were some things in there that they taught me that I already knew. And that was just from me learning on my own. And then the rest of the shit was outdated. I was like, what am I doing with my time here? Like, I do not need to learn about newspaper marketing, radio ads. Like, I've been making content on TikTok for a while. I've been working with TikTok for a while, which is marketing nowadays. Personal branding and social media is marketing. And college is like so outdated. They are not even teaching that. It's like, what are you spending money on to get outdated info from people that haven't even ran it?
Yeah, it's a joke, man. It's a real joke. And I mean, all of our friends, for the most part, have personal brands. And that's just the only way you're really able to funnel in people into some sort of offer you have. So that kind of carries me into my next question here. Do you believe that personal branding is the future of online businesses?
Absolutely. I think that there will be few businesses that are grown without personal brands. Even local businesses are going to be grown through personal brands. Like, I was in LA and I saw a David Dobrik pizza shop and I was like, oh, I want to try that. It's a local business built by a personal brand. Like, all of the biggest businesses nowadays are being built through personal brands, and more specifically through the operator creator duo. Now, most people know the faces of the businesses, but you probably are missing the fact that there is a G that moves in silence on the back end that actually runs a business, because creator is a full-time thing. Being a creator is like running a full business on its own. Running a business behind an audience is also a full business, which is why all the biggest businesses are being built with a creator making content on the front end and an operator who's like the G that moves in silence, that doesn't really get the recognition, but he's the real G that's like running the business, making the money, operating things. And like, if you look at all the top creators, they all have operators, all of them. Like, I interviewed Eric's operator. I didn't know he had one, but thankfully Max was connected to him, so I was able to talk to him. And like, all of the biggest creators have operators. They have people in the back end that operate, and no business is going to be built without that duo.
You know, when I was learning more about you the other night and just getting some talking points together, I randomly came across a clip of Andrew Tate, and he was like, you guys think that only one person runs an entire business like this, like talking about the real world and stuff like this. And he was like, there's so many people in the background that are running the show behind the scenes that you don't even know exist. And you wouldn't even know that I exist if it weren't for them. So that was kind of dope that he kind of reinforced that belief and reinforced that sort of mindset and business fundamental, you know, of having at least 2 people involved. One, the face of the brand, and then the other, or however many other, involved in the back end and just expanding it.
What blows my mind about what Tate has built is how well he was able to capitalize on his attention. Like, most people will blow up like that and they'll miss the opportunity of actually monetizing it. They'll get all that attention and they won't make money. But he did it so perfectly. He literally, perfect example. Gained about 20 million followers across all social media platforms during his blow up. And then from there, he funneled it all into his paid community, which has 200,000 people paying him $50 per month. That's 1% of his audience. I typically say that if you do it right, you can monetize 1% of your audience. And he did it at a massive scale. He's making $10 million per month. I believe that might be more now. And he's just a creator. He's a full-time creator, makes content. His cousin Luke is the G that moves in silence, that operates the community and manages the business. And most people don't know about him. I think he's been in a few videos, but he's the real G that moves in silence that's actually the one running the business that's making $10 million per month. And I think I saw Tate say that he pays himself $1 million per week from his community, which is disgusting.
I saw that clip too. It was a recent podcast.
It's disgusting.
How do you know that Luke runs the background of the business?
I talk to people.
Yeah,
I talk to people.
that's dope. I didn't know that. Because I know he has like several like coaches and stuff in there that are
Yeah.
teaching different skills.
Well, yeah, in a community you can hire coaches, but there's typically one guy that like manages and oversees everyone and manages everything. I mean, from what I've heard, he was there building it from the ground up. One of my boys was in there early on, and he was the guy that was active, like the face of the community inside the community. You know what I mean?
Cool. Learn something every day then, huh? Then right now, in terms of people trying to start a personal brand, obviously content's important, right? But the framework of a video, what is the proper framework for trying to film a video that's actually going to get attention and get people engaged and want to actually take action?
So, do you want attention, or do you want to? You first have to ask yourself: do you want to get views, or do you want to make money, or both?
Why not both?
Okay. Well, when you add on the whole monetary aspect, you kind of cut the growth of the video. Like, you can still go viral being super specific and trying to make money, but it's a lot harder. But the first thing you need to think about is teaching someone something. They need to learn something. And if you're not teaching someone, it's going to be a lot harder to monetize, at least the way that I do it. Like, you can monetize a comedian or entertainer, but not through paid community, not through an info product, which is the most profitable. You'd have to like paywall their content and just make more content. But if you're trying to build like a paid community and make content to grow that community, the best way to do that is to make videos teaching people something. And the framework for that is like hook them in with some type of hook, have social proof for why they should listen to you, and then break it down, whatever you're teaching them, 3 to 5 steps. First do this, second do this, third do this, or I did this, then I did this, and then I did this, and then hit them with the CTA. If you want to learn more about this, I have this thing for you. Check it out here. It's as simple as that. Very, very simple framework. And the reason that it works is because if you're running like a paid community or some type of info product, you're teaching someone something, some type of transformation through that info product or that community. And no one's going to trust you or want to buy from you unless they're learning something on the front end through your content. So it's like reciprocity. You teach someone something on the front end, they're going to feel good. They're going to have that reciprocity. They're going to be more likely to want to buy something from you after they learn something from you already.
Okay. So, yeah, there you go. Eddie just gave you the entire sort of layout of how you should be structuring your content for optimizing for CTA and get someone to either buy or sign up, whatever that may look like. Then, why do you think your videos have performed so well? Was it the editing, like the fancy lighting, the microphone on the dread? Like, what do you think it was?
All of the above, but also none of that shit mattered. The only thing that really mattered was the script. And that's something that most people get wrong. They'll see, oh, Eddie's shorts are popping off right now. Who has Eddie Cumberbatch style edits? I need them. Like, I see people running for them. And that's not what made my videos pop. They helped for sure. They're a cherry on top. But the thing that really made my videos do well is the fact that I sit down and I script them out word for word. I can make the same video without any editing and it pop. So it's all about the script. That's why there's people online that don't edit at all. They just pick up the phone and they yap and they go viral. The editing doesn't matter at all. But I guess some of the variables like the mic for retention helped, and the editing. I think the editing for me was more of being able to break down and visually show what I'm talking about. It helped with the teaching. It wasn't about the retention. It wasn't about the fast pace. It was more about showing them visually what I'm talking about and showing them how to do it so they can actually understand step by step what to do and walk away learning something.
Interesting. Okay. I asked that question because a lot of people get hung up on like, oh, I got to do this editing style. Like, as you said, I need the Eddie Cumberbatch editing style. Or I need some sort of other cool like setup or whatever that may look like. As you said, though, I know many people as well that are able to just shoot and film. TJR being one of them. Cardinal Mason being another one off the top of my head. Like, those two guys consistently pull multi-6-figure views per video usually.
Yep.
And it's them just filming raw, like walking around or just yapping on the phone.
Just being authentic.
Exactly. So what do you think the importance of, or let me rephrase this. How do you think somebody should be able to find their sweet spot of content, whether it's going to be being authentic, talking on camera like this, or setting up an actual layout as we have right here? Is that a personal thing?
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on like how you want to be viewed. how you want to be represented. Like, I personally think the best way to go about it, the most sustainable, the most long term uh, way, is to just be authentic. And you can be authentic in a setup, but a lot of the times people see the setups and they're like trying to put spray paint on a turd. They're like, they don't want to be themselves. They're trying to act a certain way. They want this fancy setup to give this look. But I think you should just focus on being yourself. And if you're able to be yourself, when you just pick up the phone and yap and it's super raw, and also while you sit down behind a setup, like you'll succeed.
Do you think that somebody should stick with one content style throughout all their videos, or just throw in whatever they like?
I rotate. I think that, I mean, content's ever changing. It's the market. Everyone else like changes. Like now, a lot of people are looking for the Eddie Cumberbatch style, trying to copy it, and like I'm innovating because when you look like everyone else, you're not going to stand out. You're not going to perform well. And so I probably have gone through a dozen content styles since I started, and every few months I'll like find something that works. I think when you're making content, a growth hack is to test, throw a ton of shit at the wall, try a ton of different styles, and then once you find something that works, you find something that sticks, you run with it and you milk it. That's what I did with those videos that I was doing with the mics on my dread. I found something that worked, and it was working really well for revenue and growth of my personal brand, and I milked it. The second I saw it was working, I went from making like 4 videos a week to making 2 a day, 60 shorts per month, and I was just pumping them out, and like grew a ton during that time, and my business grew a ton during that time. And now that's kind of died out, and now I'm innovating, throwing shit at the wall, finding out what's going to stick, and then I'm going to run with that.
Yeah, innovating is obviously an important part in any business, but especially in a world that moves so fast that is social media. You have to be on top of the game pretty much 24/7, watching content like with intention, not just doom scrolling, but actually seeing what's working for other people. And maybe you can pick something up from somebody, or see certain styles, and maybe that's going to create your own style like, as a spinoff, opposed to just trying to copy someone directly.
100%. You got to definitely take inspiration from your favorite creators, see what they're doing, see what you like about their style, but you have to find a way to be 15% different.
Yes.
Make it true to who you are by 15%.
Before I was rudely interrupted by my camera, my SD card running out, I want to ask you a couple more questions before we wrap it up here. So now in the space over the past year, 2 years that you've really been having a lot of momentum, you've met a lot of cool people, and then you've also lost some friends along the way too, right?
Yep.
How has that journey affected you?
It's made me realize that the people who were there in the beginning, you should hold close and take care of them, because those are the only people that you know for sure aren't there for what you have. They're there for who you are. Like my boys that have known me since I was broke, they're obviously not here for lifestyle or the money that I have, the clout, whatever it is. They're here because they know who I am. They're my boys. And so I see a lot of people, they get successful, they cut off their day ones, and then they just start only hanging around people that are like clouded or whatever. But like you end up in rooms with people that don't even care about you. They care about what you have. And it's an empty feeling if you put yourself in that position. And I think that it's extremely important for anyone on their journey. Fuck what people are saying about cutting off your day ones. Even if you're just getting started and you have your friends with you, like you might need to distance yourself to focus on your grind, but don't cut them off. Most people take their day ones for granted and don't realize how valuable it is to have people that have been around since the beginning. And the new people in my life, it's cool making some connections with some people. But at the end of the day, I've realized that like everyone's a human, everyone's the same. One guy is not special because he makes a certain amount of money or he has a certain amount of followers. We're all just humans. And so like, I don't know, I surround myself with people who are genuine and people that care about me for me, not for what I have.
Okay, I love that answer. And to follow up with that, what do you think about the day ones though that may not be supportive of you, or that are still kind of stuck in some sort of mindset that isn't a growth mindset? What do you think of that?
I mean, it depends, because that's like kind of walking the line. Like that's kind of two people. There's people that aren't in a growth mindset, and then there's people that aren't supportive. You could have both, and fuck those people. Like if you're not, I don't care if you were not focused and you weren't on your grind, and that's why you weren't supportive. But if you're like not on your grind, I don't care. My best friend is in a frat in college, partying all day, every day. He's not focused. And I don't care. He's been supportive the entire way. He's like, yeah, Eddie, you do what you do, I do what I do. That doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm not here to diss you. I see what you're doing. I support it. I think it's really dope. And he's been supportive the entire way. And now he's actually been like, yo, I feel kind of lost. Like, I'm in college. I've gone through this. And, like, I don't know what to do. And now I'm able to be like, I mean, I've tried reaching out and like telling him like, yo, you should do this. You should get into this. And he's never taken the opportunity. But it's cool. It's cool. It's not for him. He doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur. But what he's passionate about is cooking. And I'm able to help him with that now because he's been by my side and supportive. I'm able to have him come out and be a chef for me and pay him and take care of him. And so I think that your day one, like if your friends early on are not on the same path, it doesn't matter as long as they're still supportive or at least not supporting. Maybe they're not like supporting fully, but if they're like dissing, like cut them off, fake. Instant sign that like that person should not be in your life. I keep a few people in my life. My circle is very small, and it's the people that have shown that they're genuine.
Yeah, that's the most important thing is just genuine people being able to, and as you said, like, cool, you're not an entrepreneur. All right, still, or cool, I can still hang out with you. Just as long as you're not talking shit and stuff, like, fine. Or as long as, you know, you got your own stuff going on, cool. We're both going to cheer each other on type thing.
100%.
So I like asking that kind of question because I've sometimes perhaps maybe overthought certain things and decisions I've made regarding friends even back home in Jersey. And I wish nothing but the best for them, genuinely, because I've had to stop talking to some people for myself because I felt like I was being held back. And that was going back to the non-growth mindset
100%.
Of the playing the video games very, very often and not really wanting more. And that's totally fine for them, but it's not for me. So
I think in those situations where maybe your friends aren't on that the whole growth mindset, they're grind set, they're not an entrepreneur, whatever it is, but you're trying to do that. If they are getting in the way and holding you back, just distance yourself. Don't cut them off. Just be like, yo, listen, like I'm on this journey. I need some time. I've done this a few times. Like I work in sprints where I'll just like lock in and just work really, really hard. And in high school, I did it for the first time and everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, where you been at? Why aren't you coming to the games? Why aren't you showing up to basketball games, football games? Why aren't you hanging out after lunch? I'd be in the library instead of in the student center. I'd be working. They'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? And few people understood and few people were cool with it. And like those people are like in my life to this day still. And the people that when I was like, yo, I need to distance myself, like we're still cool, and they weren't cool with it, like they're obviously not in my life anymore. You know what I mean?
yeah, that is one of those things where distancing versus perhaps cutting off is a really important differentiator, like piece, because there's been people that have been like quote unquote cut off, but also people that I have distanced myself from. And I think that you should always distance yourself before cutting somebody off, unless they give you a very valid reason to do so. But I like that take. It was good. And one of my last questions here to wrap it up here is going to be, it's more fun and lighthearted opposed to the, you know, talking about people and talking about window locking and stuff like this. I want to know, you just got a new apartment, or actually a penthouse in downtown Chicago, right?
Yep.
What is that running you per month in terms of rent?
11,000.
What made you rationalize spending $11,000 for a penthouse?
It's basically free. No, I'm playing. No, but it is. I say that a lot. Honestly, well, you'll get to a point, not even just like a certain amount of money. It's just like confidence in yourself and your own ability, your own skill to go ahead and consistently make money. Like I know that even if I lost everything today, I can build it back up and I can make 10K per month first few days of me starting something. And what I realized in the past, I was making like, I don't know, 6-7K in personal take home per month. And I decided to sign a 3K per month lease, and it was uncomfortable. I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of money. Like, what happens if 1 month the business dips? And like at the time I didn't have any reserve. Like it was like money comes in, money goes out, and like typically drain my entire bank account on my expenses. But I signed that lease for 3K, and like business just soared, and like it put me in a position where my back against the wall. Now I'm not in that position where it's like, oh shit, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Like I'm, like, in 1 month I made my entire lease, and so it's not like I'm super worried. But I mean, I just needed the space. Like I was in a high rise before for 3K per month, but it was like a convertible. It was small, but I needed the space. It's a 3 bed now. I have an office. I have my room. I have Max's room. I hired a creative director to come live with me, and then I have a studio for content. Like I view those as necessities, and
Yeah.
the cool thing is I can write off my office and the content room, and we're still trying to see about Max's room because he's an employee. He's not paying rent. I'm paying the entire thing.
Okay. Okay. I know so many people are going to be just dumbfounded and shocked by that response and that dollar figure per month. But that whole mindset and belief in terms of like when you were younger, trying to put yourself like against the wall in a way to feel that discomfort kind of sets like a flame under you
Oh yeah,
to like actually, okay, I have to perform.
absolutely.
If I don't perform, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
So
can't pay rent. Gonna fuck
exactly.
up my credit or whatever. Like
A lot of things get messed up with that.
yeah.
So I'm not saying to over leverage yourself
Oh, yeah.
or anybody to over leverage themselves, but maybe make yourself a little uncomfortable here and there to be like, oh man, I can't take today off, or oh man, let me stay in the office like an extra 2 hours a night for the next 4 nights. A little more work you can do, and you'd be surprised how that can compound over time, and you know get to the point where you're at now, which is in terms of signing a lease for an apartment for a penthouse for 11 grand a month. That's pretty aspirational. So Eddie, I like you having on, bro. Great guy.
Appreciate you, Frank.
And we were able to just chop it up here and get to know him a little bit more on a deeper level, because I swear when I was trying to learn more about you, bro, like all I could find was you talking about growth operating. So I had to ask Nathan for a few things,
Okay.
and he was able to hook it up. But appreciate you coming on. Where can the people find you once you get your Instagram back?
Instagram. Cumberbatch.
Okay. Thank you, brother, for coming on once again. And guys, remember, don't be motivated, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next one.